Hey everyone, this is BlockFido. In the previous video, we explained that the proof-of-work algorithm in practice failed to ensure the proper fairness of the miner's choice for the next block, which gave rise to a situation in which the control over this process concentrated in the hands of individual groups of users called mining pools. One way to address this issue was proposed by the Bitcoin Talk forum user in 2011 and subsequently named proof of stake. How does this algorithm work? What is its advantage over proof of work? What are its drawbacks? Let's figure this out together. But before we start, please note that further we will name proof of stake as PoS and proof of work as PoW. Proof of stake's mechanism and benefits. First, consider the concept of stake. Stake is a certain amount of crypto assets that a user enters when connecting to a blockchain. On the basis of how much of these assets represents the total number of coins placed on the chain of blocks, the share of ownership of the user is calculated. Accordingly, to get the right to mining new blocks, user must provide the so-called proof of share of ownership, also known as proof of stake. The size of the stake directly affects the distribution of blocks among network users. The higher your share of ownership, the higher the probability that the next block will be you. The process described can be compared with the purchase of shares. The larger the stake, shares, you buy, the more coins you deposit in blockchain as a stake, the more dividends you will receive, the greater your chance to become a miner for the next block and receive a reward. Stake size is the main criterion for choosing the next validator, but not the only one. Validator, who is it? Since the PoS algorithm does not imply the solution of cryptographic problems, the term mining does not apply to this concept. According to PoS, the user selected by the blockchain to create the next block undertakes to confirm all transactions placed in this block, for which he receives a fee calculated on the basis of the number of verified transactions. This process is called forging or minting, and its executors are called validators. Why should we trust validators? Because confirming a transaction carries certain risks. If the validator fails to check the contents of the block, part of the initial stake will be immediately charged as a fine. Therefore, as long as the size of the stake exceeds the total fees received for the transaction verification, the validator is at a disadvantage to confirm incorrect data. And yet, what other factors influence the choice of the next validator? In addition to the already mentioned size of stake, the choice of validator is also based on two other parameters: account activity and age of stake. The first parameter is responsible for the number of transactions confirmed by the node. Higher activity increases the likelihood that the blockchain will select your node as a validator. The second parameter reflects the length of time your coins were placed on the blockchain. This means that the longer your stake is kept online, the higher the chance of becoming the next validator. It is important to understand that if you put in a stake and forget about it for a few months, it does not guarantee that the coins will become old and will have the greatest chances. No. Once the node creates the block, the age of the stake is reset. It is the time spent online that is crucial. Taken together, this set of criteria avoids the centralization of the forging process and ensures a more even distribution of blocks among users. Proof of work differs from proof of stake. Taking all this into account, three main differences between the two algorithms can be identified. Proof of stake bases the choice of the next block creator not on the speed of computation, but on the size of the ownership share, the stake. It will not be possible to just buy equipment and engage in the process of mining tokens. The process of serrating blocks with the help of proof of stake does not imply the use of mining equipment, and its implementation does not require a large amount of electricity. The reward in PoS is a commission for each verified transaction, whereas according to PoW, it is a token generated as a result of solving the crypto puzzle. Disadvantages of PoS. Despite the notable advantages over proof of work, PoS has certain drawbacks. First of all, it is worth mentioning the notorious Attack 51. Since the proof of stake algorithm is mainly used in blockchains, the risk of such an attack extends to it. In addition, PoS failed to provide complete randomness in the choice of the creator of the following block. Rich users can still financially influence the forging process. This problem was partially solved with additional filters such as age of stake and account activity, but unfortunately, it is still not enough. An additional problem is the probability that the user selected for validation will be offline and will not perform the function prescribed by the algorithm at the right time. To sum up, first, proof of stake is a more complex and fair mechanism for achieving consensus among network users, primarily based on the size of the stake. Second, PoS does not require solving cryptographic tasks and using miners to generate new tokens. In this regard, the process of building blocks is called forging or minding, but not mining, and the main actors are validators. Third, validators confirm the transactions stored in the block and receive a fee for this. Fourth, in addition to the size of the stake, factors such as the age of the stake and account activity influence the choice of validator. Fifth, proof of stake is a better algorithm than proof of work, but it is not the final solution to the problem of centralizing the block creation process. Thank you for watching this. We hope that the video was useful for you. With love, BlockFido's team.